Speaking of Russia as a bad actor, perfect lead-in. On the live line with us this morning, the patent professor, John Rizvi. Thanks for doing this today.
Of course. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Talk to us a little bit about, and we've discussed the idea of intellectual property specific to China as a bad actor and a lot with the agricultural world. Talk to us a little bit about what he's considering doing to unfriendly nations.
Yeah. So, and when you said perfect lead-in, I mean, there's talk about chemical, biological, nuclear weapons, but a lot of people don't realize that intellectual property has oftentimes in war been a war tactic as well. So Russia has two decrees that essentially have given it a license to steal the intellectual property from what they call unfriendly countries. And it's really vague, but obviously it seems to be directed towards those countries that are imposing sanctions.
So, John, talk to us about what that looks like. How does that work?
So any patent holders that have intellectual property in Russia, if they're deemed to come from unfriendly countries, there could be knockoff products, and there's absolutely no enforcement. And I think part of what Putin is doing, this is a way to make sure that they have access to whatever they would need. And in times of war, people don't realize that there's no such thing as a world patent. Patents are territorial, so it's no different than oil or any other natural resources that countries try to focus on. And that's exactly what Russia is doing, is making it clear that any intellectual property inside the country is basically free game.
And talk to us a little bit about how damaging that could be to a country. Let's use us as an example. If one of those patents was stolen and used for their profit.
Well, it could be certainly any countries, any companies that have intellectual property there. And for example, there's a lot of Coca-Cola bottling plants in Russia. There's 850 McDonald's stores, and that McDonald's, of course, they've decided to shut down and close business in their stores. But the Russian oligarch could take them over, continue sales under the McDonald's name with absolutely no compensation whatsoever.
And notwithstanding the idea of counterfeit, right? Printing money, that certainly could destabilize some economies too.
Of course, completely.
We call him the patent professor about Putin privacy. I'm going to stop there because I could get in trouble. John Rizvi, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you. My pleasure.